Hello guys, my name is Synthetic and welcome back to AOR, this time for the Japanese Grand Prix. And to be honest, my pace around here isn't ideal, but fortunately I was able to find an aggressive setup which worked really well in qualifying and in parts of the race as well. And I think this probably was my fastest lap I ever did in AOR, because I was able to hook all sectors together, which is quite difficult around here, and there were quite a bit of lags or lag spikes in this race because we had, I think, 18 people in the lobby, so not ideal. You can see at the moment we are in P13, so we really have to improve on that. And in terms of championship, it's looking really good at this point. I think probably a P5 or P6 would have been enough to secure our championship, so we will absolutely do our best in order to get this result and maybe even better if possible. And here we are in the last few parts of the lap. You can see that we are up by quite a bit, and now it's just all about hooking the last few corners together, which can be very tricky because it's easy to cut or extend this corner, but it seems that we got a really decent launch out of the last corner, and at the end we go P2, which I think turns into P3, but still I was absolutely over the moon with that lap. And let's see whether we are able to continue like that in the race. You can see we have 5 red lights and it's lights out and away we go, and it seems that Nadi got a really good start on our right, so we have to be very cautious in the first corner because it's easy to lose your wing, and we decided to let him go because there's no point in real fighting someone in this part of the track, because most of the time it ends in a collision, so we don't want any kind of this. We are thinking about the championship, and something like that would not be that great, and even a P4 would be really good result. And at this point it was all about saving the tires, because as I mentioned earlier, I had a really aggressive setup, so I wasn't sure how my tire wear or my oversteer would really pan out over the race. But you can see we locked up quite heavily in the last few corners, and now Falcon was behind us, and I think in the first few laps he was really quick, but it wasn't ideal that he overtook us, which he has every right to do, because especially if we do a mistake in a serious part or in an important part of the track. So I just had the feeling that especially after lap 5 I was the quicker car, because my tire wear at this point was better, and you will see that also in the next few laps. And here you can see he whiffed on the straights, which is I don't know why he would do that, because it's not really making a difference on the track like Japan. So you can see we are gaining quite a bit in this part of the track, which is quite insane, because normally you would have a lot of understeer due to the dirty air, but it seems our higher wings are really helping us, and the better tires are working quite well. And unfortunately we aren't really close to make any kind of impression on him, so we just have to be very cautious and stick with him, and maybe he does some kind of mistake which lets us past. But again, you can see he weaved on the straights, which I'm not too happy about, but we are gaining at least a little bit of time on the straights. But again, we aren't really too close to make a move, so we have to wait. And again, we are gaining slightly in this part of the track. I think he had more oversteer than we had, and especially in this part I was able to control the car quite nicely, and I think he had a few problems with that over the course of the last few laps of the first stint. And again, a slight bit of oversteer. So we are getting closer and closer now, and yeah, we aren't really close enough to make moves still yet. So we have to wait on a mistake to happen, and again, the slipstream isn't really working either. So it also might be because he was running less downforce than we were. I think we opted to go for 211 wings to save our rear tires and in order to have not too much oversteer, especially at the end. And again, we are closing, but it's just simply not enough. And if we go for the dive bomb, he will have the outside line and he just will get better traction out of the last corner. So it's too difficult to make a move. And this time we are closer compared to the laps before, and he went really defensive into the first corner, which is not ideal because it compromises your run into the first few corners. You can see he ran slightly wide and had a little bit of oversteer, so we are now really close, but again, not close enough. And especially in this part, as always, it's not really an overtaking part, and the dirty air is just pushing us wide, which is good. I really like that in this game. But yeah, we have to wait on this mistake, and in lap 9 this was the case. You can see he struggled for grip, he had oversteer. I think he was running a more aggressive setup than I was, so you can see he ran off the track and unfortunately he hit the barrier, which cost him the race, which is really strange to me because normally you would expect that someone who's driving that far up doesn't do that kind of mistake. But yeah, here we are now into the pits, and I will be honest with you. Now you will see the part that destroyed my race. If I can spoil that, you can see that we are gaining a lot of time on Super Scrub at this point because he was on old softs and he decided to stay out longer, and we were on new softs because we were doing the one stop. And you can just see how much time we are gaining on him. I think he was struggling probably with the setup as well, and yeah, we were just miles quicker at this point, probably multiple seconds, and we decided to launch into the inside, but unfortunately we didn't get the traction, which is not good. And I think he was running less downforce as well, and to be honest, this is a part I really don't understand because his fighting just costs him so much time. And here you can see the thing that destroyed my race. It will look really strange, but I will promise that I couldn't have done anything. You will see a replay of this in just a second. And here you can see we just decided to stay close, and he ran wide, and you can see he went to the left, so I decided to go for the right, and somehow he lost the car while doing so, and he moved to the right and our lines crossed. We had an accident and my front wing was gone, so I had to go to the pits and change my front wing, which basically meant that my race at this point was over. And unfortunately this time I wasn't able to recover because the whole grid was too close, and to be honest I was really unhappy with that because at the beginning of the race I had the chance and the opportunity to win the title all by myself, and just because of a mistake of another driver I lost it. But Ollie had same issues over the season, and I think it's just fair when I have these two. And here you can see the final results. Not a great day for both of us, Alex and me, but I hope to be better in the next one and hope to see you in the next one as well. And goodbye.